Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters. Today we are going to talk about how the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him would remember the Quranic verses. So here we are going through the Quranic verses and some hadiths. There are two hadiths I'm going to talk about. The first hadith is by Ibn Abbas. In the explanation of the statement of Allah, move not your tongue concerning to make haste their word. There was an verse bestowed upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him by Allah, which read, move not your tongue concerning to make haste therewith. So, Allah's Messenger used to bear the revelation with great trouble, as we know from my past video on how the revelation was bestowed upon Prophet, peace be upon him, that it was quite a burden on his heart, that how the verses were released on his heart. So, whenever he he sometimes tried to read the verses quickly, so he would move his lip. So the Quranic, here we move towards the hadith. So Ibn Abbas, in the explanation of the statement of Allah, move not your tongue concerning to make haste their word, said Allah's Messenger used to bear the revelation with great trouble and used to move his lips quickly with the inspiration. Ibn Abbas moved his lips like the Prophet moved his lips. I am moving my lips in front of you as Allah's Messenger used to move moved his lips, saying, I'm moving my lips as I saw Ibn Abbas moving his. Ibn Abbas added, so Allah revealed, move not your tongue concerning to make this haste word. It is for us to collect it and give you the ability to recite it, which means that Allah will make him remember the portion of the Quran which was revealed at the time by heart and recited. The statement of Allah, and when we have recited to you, then you follow its recital, means listen to it and be silent. That then it is for us to make it clear to you, means then it is to make you recite it afterwards. Allah's Messenger used to listen to Jibreel, which is the angel, whenever he came, and after his departure he used to recite it as Jibreel had recited it. So here we can say that, as you know from the past video, that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, didn't know how to read and write. As he met in the cave of Hira with Jibreel alayhi salam, he said, I do not know how to read. So in this case we can say that Allah bestowed the verses of the Quran on him, and he taught the verses of the Quran to him. The meaning of the verses, what Allah is trying to say to the whole ummah, the whole world, to the prophets, whatever Allah tried to say through the Quranic verses, he taught the Prophet, peace be upon him. And what Prophet, peace be upon him, was doing, he was moving his lips so that he could learn quickly. At the time the verses were bestowed upon his heart, but the Allah through his ayat told him, his Quran verses told him to not do it, as the verses of the Quran are his, you could say, his duty to bestow upon the Prophet, and his duty to teach him the verses of the Quran and how to recite them, as it is narrated in the next this hadith, that whenever Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, tried to remember or was trying to speak to a Sahabi about the verses of Quran, he would just try to remember the verse of the Quran, and it would appear in his brain that what the ayat is and what the God is trying to explain about that ayat. So here we move towards our next hadith. So here again we have a deletion of Ibn Abbas, in which he said Allah's Messenger was the most generous of all the people, and he used to reach the peak in generosity in the month of Ramadan when Gabriel met him. Gabriel used to meet him every night of Ramadan to teach him the Quran. Allah's Messenger was the most generous person, even more generous than the strong and uncontrollable wind. So we can say that Prophet tried to remember, when I can say here that the Prophet, peace be upon him, always tried to remember the Quranic verses, but the Quranic verses was like pasted upon his head. Whenever he tried to remember a single verse, it was printed on his brain, so that he can just read it through it, and he also understood the explanation what the God was trying to speak to him or speak to the Ummah about the verses he bestowed upon the Prophet, peace be upon him. So we could end the video here by saying that the Quranic verses, the Prophet had special was given a special talent or a special ability that he could just think about the ayat and it would just appear in his brain like someone printed it there. And he would also remember the explanation of the ayat, because once it is not easy to understand the words of God like that clearly. So the explanation was also done on his brain that we can easily understand what the ayat was trying to say. So we can end the video here of how the Prophet learned or remembered the ayats of the Quranic verses. So